Hey there. So this is your video lesson for Wednesday, February 10th. And we are on a new book today. We're going to go back to this book, Ruby Bridges Goes to School, and we're going to work on it for a little while. So make sure that you have your knowledge and response journal ready. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do the vocabulary first before we do the new lesson for today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to do our vocabulary video. Okay, here we go.
Hello, second grade friends, and welcome back to Grade 2, Module 3, Focusing Question 3. I'm Mrs. Mowell. Today, we're practicing vocabulary for Focusing Question Arc 3. Let's begin. Our first word is narrative. Let's say narrative together. Narrative. By looking at the icon, I can see I see a character and it looks like they're having a birthday party. So I can tell that this is a story. Let's read the definition. The definition of narrative is speaking or writing that tells a story. Now, let's listen to the word and definition in Spanish.
Narración significa discurso o escrito que cuenta una historia.
Now, let's practice reading the word narrative in a sentence. Please feel free to read along with me or listen as I read. My grandma wrote a narrative about her life as a little girl. Now you try. Fantastic. Thank you for practicing your reading. Our next word or words are point of view. Let's say point of view.
Point of view.
Point of view. By looking at the icon, I can tell that there are two people and they're looking at the same thing, but one is looking maybe at the circle and the other one might be looking at the triangle. Even though they're looking at the same thing, it's almost like they're looking at it from a different perspective. Let's see what the definition of point of view is. Let's read the definition. The definition of point of view is perspective, a place from which you see or consider something. Now, let's listen to the word and definition in Spanish.
Punto de vista significa perspectiva, el lado desde el cual se ve o se considera algo.
Now, let's practice reading the words point of view in a sentence. Again, you can read with me or you can listen as I read. From my point of view, the painting looked like a dancing dog. Now you try. Thank you again for practicing your reading. For this practice, I want you to practice the vocabulary with your learning partner. I'll ask a question and please answer in a complete sentence. If I write a narrative from my point of view, it would be called a first-person narrative. What is a narrative that you would like to write from your point of view? I would like to write a narrative about... Please pause the video now and talk to your learning partner and share the sentence frame. I would like to write a narrative about blank.
Okay, so here's an example, guys. I know that one's a little confusing. So I would like to write a narrative about the time I took Caitlin to the beach and we saw a shark. Okay, so it's about a first person point of view. It's a story about your point of view about something. So when would you like to write a narrative?
Welcome back. I answered it like this. I would like to write a narrative about when I went to Mexico as a little girl. I wish I could hear what you would like to write a narrative about. Our last word is liberty. Say the word with me, liberty. By looking at the icon, I can see the Statue of Liberty. And the Statue of Liberty reminds me of that word freedom. Let's read the definition. The definition of liberty is freedom to live your life the way you want. Let's listen to the word and definition in Spanish.
Libertad significa la facultad de poder vivir la vida como uno lo desee.
Fantastic. Let's practice reading the word liberty in a sentence. Please feel free to read along with me or to follow along as I read. I have the liberty to choose my own book at the library. Now, you try. I love that you're practicing reading these sentences because practicing reading helps us read better. To review, here are our 3 words that we practiced today. Let's say them each one more time. Narrative. Point of view. Liberty. Please remember to use these words as much as you can in speaking and writing. Thank you for learning with me today, and thank you for doing great things and using great vocabulary. We'll see.
Okay, so that was the introduction to our vocabulary. What I would like to do right now is show you your new vocabulary list. Sorry, I just got to pull it up for you. Okay, so here is the new vocabulary list. Okay, so there's 14 words this time, 4 more than usual. So we have the word famous, which means recognized or liked by the public. Grown means having reached adulthood. Mob is a large crowd of angry or excited people. Brave means ready to face pain or danger, or you are courageous. Marshals is an officer of a federal court whose duties are like those of a sheriff. Explode means to suddenly put out energy or burst open. Moment is a short period of time. Hopeful is to be full of hope. Ecstatic means feeling or expressing extreme happiness or joy. Anxious means you are being caused worry or you're very scared. Courageous means you're very brave. Mischief is reckless or malicious behavior that causes annoyance in others. Confident is a feeling or belief that you can do something well or feeling that you will succeed at something. And the last word is irritated, which means slightly angry or annoyed. All right, so listen up, guys. You have a new vocabulary list today, which means you have new work in your vocabulary journal to start on. So we are going to start on page 40 today. You're going to put the title of both of our new books coming up, Ruby Bridges Goes to School, My True Story, and Story of Ruby Bridges. So these are our next two books, okay? Remember, you're going to put, sorry, my ears itchy. You're going to put 2 words on a page, the word, the definition, and an illustration. So on page 43, you're going to have famous and grown. On page 44, you'll have mob and brave. On page 45, you'll have marshals explode. On page 46, you'll have moment and hopeful. Page 47, ecstatic and anxious. Page 48, courageous and mischief. And page 49 will be confident and irritated. Okay, so you will start on page 43 and on 49. That's 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 words. Now remember, you have until we finish 2 books to get those done, but don't wait until the very end. Just go ahead and get them done, guys. All right, that way it helps you study for your quiz. Okay, so you will have new vocabulary words uploaded today. You will also have a new fluency passage to read. So you will have both of those loaded for today. Okay, so now let's get back to our video and we are going to go ahead and get started with Sabella. Oops, wrong one. And this video is actually really short. Right, so here we go.
Welcome back, historians. I'm Sue Sabella, your Great Minds teacher. Let's see what we need for today. Today we'll be using a copy of Ruby Bridges Goes to School, My True Story. If you have a copy available, you can grab that along with your journal and your pencil. Please pause here to get what you need and just hit play when you're ready to continue. A narrative is a story, and it's a story of connected events that usually follow a sequence from beginning to middle to end. A narrative can also be a true story. It does not have to be made up. A narrative can also be told by different points of view. Today, we're going to be exploring narratives that are written in first-person point of view. The essential question will continue to guide our thinking as we explore narratives. Please pause here to read this question to yourself and just hit play when you're ready to continue. As we revisit the story of Ruby Bridges, this question will help guide our thinking as we explore this narrative. How did Ruby Bridges respond to injustice? Why are first-person narratives important? Let's figure it out. Let's take a quick look at the point of view chart. First-person point of view use certain key words. And one of the most common words in first person point of view narratives is the word I. But there's also another word that we might see when a story is written using first person point of view. Let's take a look at the cover of our book. Please point to the word my in the title. The word my is also a key word used in narratives that were written in first person point of view. Ruby Bridges wrote in first person point of view using the words me, my, and I to tell her own story. You can also write from first person point of view. Today, you'll practice this skill using events from your very own life. Please pause here to grab your journal and your pencil and just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so what we need to do right now is let's go back in your knowledge and response journal to page 112. Do you guys remember we made a point of view chart for first person point of view to add some words? We already have the word I. We're going to add the word me and my. So you need to go back to page 112 and add the word me and the word my to your first person point of view chart. Okay. Remember, we've already done this chart. We're just adding those two words. Okay, let's get back to the video.
To help you practice first person point of view, I'm going to ask you to write 1 or 2 sentences about your morning. And before you write in your journal, I encourage you to practice your sentences out loud. That way, if you'd like to change something, you can just practice a different sentence out loud before you actually write it down in your journal. So, for example, this is what I might say to describe my morning. This morning, I woke up and took my dog Jackson for a walk. I came back to the house and ate breakfast. If you notice in my story, I use the word I 2 times. By using the word I'm signaling to my reader that this is my point of view, first person point of view. Now it's your turn. I'd like you to pause here to practice out loud using the sentence starter and then to jot down 1 to 2 sentences that talk about something that you did this morning. Just hit play when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so in our journal, you need to be on page 131. I'm starting to get where we're going to run out of room in our journals. All right, so we're on page 131. And what you're going to do is you are going to write the instructions up, write 1 to 2 sentences about your morning, okay? And the sentences on the board are on the screen. I'm going to flip it back for you so you can copy it. The sentence starter is on the screen, and I, me, and my are on the screen, okay? So like Miss Sabella, she gave you an example. I'll give you an example for me. So I'm going to say, this morning, I had to go to school early. My daughter wanted to eat at school. Okay, so there is my sentence. I used the word, but I'm going to use a different color. I used the word I, and I used the word my. Those are my two first person point of view words, I and my. So what I want you to do, you are going to write 1 or 2 sentences about your morning. And then with a yellow marker or crayon, I want you to circle the words that you used that are first person point of view, either I, me, or my, or if you use 2 of them. Okay? So I'm going to flip the screen back so you can see the question that you need to write at the top of your page. And here is the sentence starters that you could copy. And here is I, me, and mine. Okay. So what I would like you to do is pause the video, do your 1 to 2 sentences, and make sure you circle your first person point of view words in yellow, and then just hit play.
Throughout this module, you've been becoming an expert in informational writing. And informational writing has certain features. It has an introduction, it has a topic statement, evidence, and a conclusion. Narrative writing also has features. And as we continue in this module, we'll learn more about those features. And we will build an anchor chart together to help us remember the parts of narrative writing. What do narratives tell? Pause here to tell your learning partner or to shout it out to me. Just hit play when you're ready to continue. Narratives tell stories. They could be made up stories or they could be true, just like the story of Ruby Bridges. We're just beginning to learn about narratives, but there's so much that you already know about narratives just by being a reader. And narratives are so much fun to write. Remember, whenever you're writing a narrative in first person point of view, you'll probably use words like I, me, my, or mine. Share your knowledge with others. Teach them what you now know about narratives. And I will see you again soon, my friends.
Okay, so I told you today's lesson was super short. So the only thing that you need to make sure that you get done in your journal today is page 131. And you are going to upload a picture of that to me so that I can see the sentences that you wrote. You can go ahead and get started on your vocabulary journal. And I am posting your new fluency homework for you. And you can start working on that tonight as well. So that's it, guys. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you later for phonics.